What is going on? Welcome back to the Show Me Kayak Fishing Podcast. I want to put this here because I said it wrong several times throughout the episode, and I just wanted to make sure that I come on here and let you guys know that the name didn't change. I just forgot and screwed it up. But we've got a super special guest coming on tonight in this episode. I really think you guys are going to like it. There's some starts off kind of light and then gets into some of the mindset stuff from this guest into specifically some of the tournament mindset things that this guy applies whenever he is out there competing. And he is an accomplished angler and definitely has some more accomplishments in the future. And if I was a betting man, this guy would be one to watch coming this season. And he doesn't know I'm saying this. I'm recording it after the fact, but he's definitely one to watch. So I'm not going to waste any more of your guys' time blabbering on. We're going to jump right into this interview, and I hope you guys enjoy. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Missouri Kayak Angling Podcast, Missouri Kayak Fishing Podcast, excuse me. And we got kind of a special guest today. It is the co-host of this show normally, but today we are going to interview him. For those of you guys that don't know Adrian, he's a stick of an angler with generally with Kayak Anglers Missouri, a little bit with Moyak. Has experimented in the bass boat world as recently as last year. He's one half of the Dube brothers, the fabled Dube brothers, and 2024 Novice Angler of the Year with Kayak Anglers Missouri. So we're going to jump right into it, ask him some questions, figure out his mindset on some things, because me and Adrian are close. I get to hear how he thinks about a lot of things, and I think it can help a lot of you guys catch more fish and place higher in tournaments, and as well as just let everybody kind of get to know him more. So, Adrian, if you'd like to introduce yourself, fishing background a little bit.
Well, that was a hell of an introduction. Uh, yeah, half of the Doobie Brothers, raised in St. Joe, Missouri. So not not a whole lot of fishing growing up. There's not any like lakes close to us really to fish. We got to make a little bit of a drive. So I grew up city and not start out fishing until I believe my freshman year of high school. And when I first started, it was in a pedal boat, and I was fishing for bluegill and crappie with the littlest, like the tiniest crappie jigs on Zebco 33 Platinums. That's kind of how I got my start, but it was never a part of my life until later on in high school when I found it. And then once I found it, I never put it down. Now it's grown into a $1,000 obsession. So,
Absolutely. So in high school, you kind of got started with the bass fishing thing a little bit more,
yeah,
rather than maybe pan fishing or however you want to call it, fishing for whatever
exactly.
bites.
Yeah. Yeah. Here and there, throughout middle school, I'd go up to a little private lake that my buddy has some property on, and we'd hammer out the bluegill and the crappie. But I never really got too dialed into the bass scene until about that freshman year of high school. I want to say it was eighth grade year. I caught like probably at the time I thought it was a 7 pounder, but it was really about a 2.5, 3 pounder on a crappie jig. And from that day forth, I started putting the effort towards just chasing bass, and now that's all I do.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And you started out, and I just read it on Facebook, a Hoodoo Tempest 120p or something like that. And
Yes, the
now,
Hoodoo Tim. So, man, I ordered that thing, and I didn't understand the game of the kayak world and how long it takes to ship. So I think I waited 4 months for that kayak. I thought I got screwed. I didn't think it was ever coming. And then finally, I get home from school because I was still at school and at this point, and bam, this big old 12-foot box is sitting outside the house, and I'm like, oh, sweet, got the kayak, and yeah, we fished out of that for a year, I think. and I was I was just tired of it. Got out on Smithville in the summer. The last time that Camo went to Smithville, that place gets some party boats on there, and it's not very wide, so the waves going this way are just crazy. So I got beat up pretty bad. I took on a bunch of water, and I said from that day forth, I'm going to work towards getting a new kayak. And I'm pretty sure it's not the next tournament, but the following one, I had a new kayak. So yeah,
And that's the
voodoo
kayak
tempted.
you're at now.
Now I fish out of a Old Town Predator PDL.
Yeah.
I love it.
Good. Good. Are you've had that since what year? 23, 22?
I believe so. Yes. Yeah. This will be my third year fishing out of it.
Yeah. Any plan to upgrade soon?
It's on the mind. It's on the mind. If the funds come together and the opportunity comes together, I definitely will. I'll probably stick with the Old Town brand, probably upgrade, get the new version. But I know a couple people in my life, I won't say names, but they've gotten some natives. And of course, you watch Greg Blanchard, and I don't know, just seeing everybody around me getting these natives makes me want to maybe get one, but we'll see. Those two brands are the only options, though, for me.
That's how I am too. That mine's out there. People know I've got a native. Uh, so it's pretty exciting for me so far. I love it. But whenever I was looking at it, the only other option for me was Old Town as well. There's a couple of our other buddies that have talked about natives to me too, but we'll see how that ends up. So kind of neat. They seem like great boats, but like you and I both said, the old towns are great as well. So I don't think either way you can go wrong, or I
I think
don't think you can go wrong sticking with your current boat because it hasn't held you back to this point. So
right. I think it just really comes down to the customer service. And fortunately, I haven't had to deal with that yet with Johnson Outdoors. So we'll see how good they are. I've not heard any bad things, nor have I heard any bad things about Native. So I think that's really what it boils down to.
absolutely, both American brands, so you can trust them.
There
So
you go.
that's a big thing for me looking into kayaks. Is you've got half of them made in America, half of them are junk. So why would you buy junk for the same price as a made in America one? But
I'm telling you, you know my feelings on that one, buddy. America all the
absolutely.
way.
Um, Wanted to jump into some of the your favorite things, a few kind of rapid fire favorite things. Uh, your favorite lake, and I want to specify on the schedule because I know you've got a soft spot for Smithville, but your favorite lake on the schedule could be Camo or Moyak, anything.
Well, it's Truman on the Moac schedule. I think it is, but I won't
I
cheat
believe
that
so.
because everybody knows that one. So I'll say my second favorite. I like Bull Shoals. I don't know why. I fish one particular arm of Bull Shoals every time I go there, but I don't know. Just the way it fishes, it's my strength. I caught my only smallmouth out of Bull Shoals. And I don't know. I always feel like there's potential for a mega bag there. So yeah, I like Bull Shoals.
Absolutely. That's one of my favorite lakes as well. I can't pick a favorite hardly. Mine's between probably Bull Shoals and Stockton. I love them both, but I mean Bull Shoals is just Stockton bigger, really. Um, at least in my experience. So, but good pick in my opinion. Um, got another one. Your favorite event that you fished in the past? You fished some unique ones with. You had a pick two with Camo a few years ago. Got the Battle of Brookfield. Those are pretty unique. Got all kinds of the regular ones. The regular five fish. I know that you really like that 3 month online thing that Camo did. But what would be your favorite?
Man, so far. Now I will say the Brookfield event where I caught the 22 and a quarter was great, but I'd have to go with the classic this year, even though it's bittersweet because I caught 69 inches, and this is on Lake of the Ozarks for the people that don't know Camo Classic 2 day best five from each day. And I finished with 69 inches, I believe it was on day one. And it hurt me. I was really far back. And then day two, I was just on fire. The wind picked up. I was slinging that crankbait around and I was on the big ones. And I think I caught 84 and a half or 84 and a quarter inches that day. I finished in seventh, and I think I was maybe a three-quarters of an inch or so out of cashing a check and taking home a trophy. But probably that one, just for the simple fact that I showed myself that when the chips are down, what the mentality that I have can do for me. You know, keep fighting, keep grinding, that Jared Swindle positive mental attitude mentality. It paid off, and I feel like I learned more through that experience and grew more as an angler in that experience than probably any other one out of any of the tournaments that I've fished. And I've fished a lot, and I've got my butt whooped a lot, so I've learned a bunch. But that one in particular, I learned a lot.
Yeah, that's awesome. I did not think that that was going to be the one that you picked, but yeah, the rally back on day two was very impressive, and definitely a learning experience. I've had some, not that dramatic, but I've had similar deals. Get screwed early and come back pretty far. So that was awesome to see as well. Coming back and being in the top 10 whenever, I don't know where you were after day one. I think most people struggled with that rain, but uh, coming back like you did, strong. Um, you got a second favorite event, or yeah, I guess, do you have a second favorite event that's like that? I know you really like the All American Classic, um, or at least you act like you do. But
I love that event, and I love the fishery. But when it comes to the days that I've put together for that specific event, none of those days, none of those days really have like jumped off the page at me. They've just been regular fishing days. I didn't really do anything overly exciting. Two of the days, the first year, I didn't do my job, didn't catch fish. The next year, I did my job on day one with a small limit, and then didn't do my job on day two. So learned a lot, but not really like a favorite experience. I would say the other one would have to be Brookfield, also from last year. You know, that tournament's different. You got a bunch of those little lakes, and you got to pick up and move when things ain't working. And with an hour and a half left, I was doing bad. I think I had 45 inches, and I just put in at this one lake that people had been at all day. And I think I caught the 17, a 19, a 22 and a quarter. And I believe I called with a 14 or a 13 incher there too, if I'm not mistaken. I think I caught a whole limit there in an hour and a half to bump me up into third place. And that was awesome for me because I get to watch my brother get a bunch of plaques. And I've been wanting one for a long time. And to get it finally, to get in there and sneak in and get a plaque, that one meant a lot to me. That one was pretty sweet.
yeah, did you get two plaques for that one?
I did, yes. Big bass overall and third place, yes. Two Steve Lehman plaques. That's what we work for all year. The money
Yes,
spins,
sir.
but that hardware is going to be there forever.
Yes, sir. As long as you're careful.
Yes, as long as you're careful.
I've got one that I'm really nervous about breaking because it's like a slate one that he made. It's very pretty cool one, but it makes me nervous even having it. I just lay it on flat surfaces and don't touch it. Um, well, talking about the plaques, I think I know what you're going to say about this one, but I've got another favorite. Your favorite moment in the past. Not it could be in a tournament, or the one that I think you're going to pick is an award ceremony, or it's just something fishing related favorite moment. Maybe whenever you saw that 22 and a quarter jump, but
Uh, uh, I've, for me, my personal experience, I really value family over self. So I'd have to say over that 22 and a quarter, which that was exhilarating. I mean, that's like getting buck fever and shaking, as you're trying to reel that fish in. But best moment, best experience has to be going AOI with my brother 2 years ago when we did it. Him getting his divisional AOI and me getting mine. That's pretty sweet.
that's what I was thinking would be the answer for that. For anybody who doesn't know, the other half of the Dube brothers is Lyle, and the same year they won two different divisional angler of the year prizes. And Camo, because Camo has different divisions. If you don't know, for based on experience, so
Which is
it was
pretty
pretty cool to
cool.
watch.
No other group would you have been able to do that with your brother in. You know, I mean, you could go rookie of the year and angler of the year and Moyak, but Camo provides you that unique experience, and that's one I'll cherish forever. That was pretty sweet.
Absolutely, and parents were there to watch you and everything.
Oh
It was
yeah,
awesome.
it was pretty cool.
Now I'm gonna dig into your secrets a little bit.
Let's get into it. I'll get some juice out.
I want to know your top three baits of 2025. Your top three producers or big fish finders,
Hmm,
or
okay. Well, I will start at three. We'll give them to you in order. I'm gonna do this off the top of my head. See what I remember. I'm gonna go three. I believe it was the jig. I want to say it was a wacky worm because I catch a lot of fish doing weird finessey things at the end of the day, but I'm gonna go with the jig because last year I matured a little bit as an angler and I picked up that jig and I've kept flipping and I kept flipping and it produced some quality bites for me last year. So I'll go three, the jig, and the other two, because I force feed them so much, I would say two would have to be a buzz bait because I just throw that thing until my shoulder falls off and I can't throw it anymore. I catch so many fish on it. I don't know. I'm weird. You've seen the one buzz bait that I had for years. I think I threw that thing for a year and a half. It looked ridiculous. Would not stop throwing it. And then number one would have to be a crankbait, specifically a Spro. I throw the Spro rock crawler all the time, anytime. That's my go-to. Maybe one day they'll sponsor me. I'll keep catching 22s.
yeah, that would be pretty awesome.
That
I
would
actually
be.
thought, yeah, I actually thought your crankbait and your buzzbait would be switched there, but it shouldn't be a surprise.
Well, my top, like my favorite way to catch them, I would have to be the buzzbait just because of the visual experience. But no, last year that crankbait just kind of shined. It was by far my most performing bait. And I think maybe just because the tournaments lined up and the weather lined up with that, a lot of windy tournaments, I don't know, crankbait just got it done for me.
Absolutely. It seemed to for a lot of people. I rarely threw a crank this year, in a couple of events, but I know I don't know if he's talked about it much, but I'm pretty sure Noah Witten won Mark Twain on a crankbait, and it seemed to be a big player this year for a lot of different guys. I think you might be right about the schedule lining up right for it. So, um, I wanted to ask your thoughts on this because I kind of know how you think, and I think it is helpful for people to talk about. And we kind of touched on this last time. Uh, but what are your thoughts on competition against motors and forward-facing sonar and the possibility of winning? I've been seeing people ask in like these different kayak fishing Facebook groups, if I am without a motor, am I going to be competitive? If I'm without live scope, am I going to be able to be competitive? There was a guy asking if he could be competitive paddling. I wanted to see your thoughts on it, because I think it can help some people break from their mental cage they've got. That's because my thought is it doesn't matter. Go out. You might have to work harder, but go out there and try.
So to answer that question, and since this is a Missouri thing, Missouri podcast, I'm just going to speak for Missouri waters because I know you could go to a lake in some different states where it's like, hey, forward facing, it's the player there, and you either or you're going to catch them with it, or you're not going to catch anything at all. But for Missouri, you don't have to have that to compete. I would say I would say no. You don't have to have a motor. You don't have to have the scope. You have to have the mentality. I will say you might want to have pedals. You might want to have pedals. I'm not saying that Dane Lewis didn't wreck a bunch of tournaments with a paddle kayak, but it's hard to do that. It's hard to be efficient fishing and trying to paddle. especially when you get in those windy events. Uh, I would say no, it's a mentality thing. You just have to go and understand that you're gonna get your 5 bites if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing and you've done your homework. You're gonna get your 5 bites. You just have to do what you can to get those into the boat and hope that your five at the end of the day are better than their five. But having a motor and them getting to their spot quicker than you or them being able to see the fish, I don't necessarily think it puts you at a disadvantage until you mentally start to think on it and dwell on it. And before you know it, you're 2 hours into the tournament and you look over across the creek and you see this guy scooting with a motor and you're like, boy, if I had that freaking motor, I could have been 2 coves up catching fish in that cove. I wouldn't be stuck here in this one with no fish. So I think it's more than anything, it's mental. I think fishing really is probably 95% mental because it doesn't, we come in all different shapes and sizes when it comes to anglers. So, I mean, it's not really a physical thing as much as it is mental, I feel like.
I agree 100%. I think the point of letting it get into your head and then screw you up is bigger than even the way I've thought about it. The way I kind of describe it to people is you can do it. You just got to be willing to work harder before you get there, while you're there, and then afterwards. If you do all your homework and you do all your research and you show up and you fish as hard as you can and you don't get lazy on like I don't want to make that paddle or pedal or whatever it may be, or you know, whatever, or leading up to the event, making sure your knots are good, respooling your line whenever you need to, all that kind of stuff. If you get lazy anywhere, it's going to show a lot more if you're at that already disadvantage of not having the gear. Whereas, if you don't have to, if you can motor from one spot to the other, then you might be able to re-rig on the water. But you just can't do that if you're paddling. Your hands are never free. So just making sure that you're prepared going into it. You fish as hard as you can in the moment. Don't get lazy during the day. And then afterwards, reflect on everything that you went throughout the day, everything that you did. It'll make you better next time. So
Exactly.
I think it's an effort thing,
It's definitely
mindset
effort.
effort.
And even more on that mental thing, it's like, especially for me personally, I'm I'm an emotional guy. I wear my heart on my sleeve. And so on a tournament morning and really for a tournament weekend, I try to not let any type of negativity into my mental because if you're putting your boat in the water and you've already had 5 or 6 things piss you off before you got your boat in the water, well, I mean, you're already beat. And then that guy scoots off with that motor and you see him 100 yards down past you when you're going 4.5 miles an hour pedaling as hard as you can. Well, that's just the final nail in the coffin there. So it's really important that even before you're on the water, you got to be positive. You got to have a positive mental attitude because it will affect you on the water and off the water.
Absolutely. Absolutely. On that positive mental attitude thing, and you mentioned him earlier, I want to know if you've got I know, but the other people may not. You got a favorite pro, and why? Why do you
I
like
do.
listening to him, watching him?
Gerald Swindle, man, from Alabama. He's the man. His results don't quite show it like they used to. He's not as consistent as he used to be. He's going through a couple knee replacements this offseason, so he didn't do too well in Gunnersville last weekend, which is surprising. It was his home lake and no scope. But that guy, man, just the way he looks at fishing, the positive mental attitude, it once you really buy into that, uh, it'll take your game so much farther. It certainly has for me. He's got uh, he's got what is it called? I think it's the NPAA, how to control your destiny in fishing. And that one he talks about controlling your positive mental attitude and how to deal with sponsors. And then he's got another one where he's sitting at the fish tank where he talks about how to be a pro and how to handle yourself day in and day out with the highs and lows of fishing. And one stat that he threw out there was uh, fishing is the most losingest sport of all time. I believe he said Kevin Van Dam won 9 like 0.9% of the tournaments he was fishing in. So when you think about that, a baseball player, you're a stud if you bat 300. So if you hit the ball 3 out of 10 times, you're failing 7 times, but you're still a stud. In fishing, you have to be able to understand that you're going to fail way more times than you're going to do good, but that doesn't take away from the angler that you are. And you got to always have that mentality that you can do it, you're always in it, and you can't lay down. So Gerald Swindle is a great person to listen to get you on that mindset.
Absolutely. And last couple of things we've touched on mindset. That's something that every year I don't really do resolutions, but every year leading into the next year, I used to like set goals of like baits or techniques that I wanted to get better at or experience or perfect. Like I remember several years in a row it was a drop shot, and I still suck at throwing them, but it was one that I really wanted to get good with. But leading into 2025, I pretty much decided that I didn't really care to learn a whole lot of new techniques or whatever new to me. I just wanted to try to fix some of the mental, I don't want to say problems because it makes it sound worse than it is, but mental blocks that I had on the water. One of them being a positive attitude. I used to beat myself up so bad whenever I did bad. But a lot of that stuff, I think, like you said, it's like 95% mental. A lot of it really comes down to that. It's not about gear or skill, like physical skill, more about mentality. So,
Yeah, it's you have to be, and that's why it's great when you see people win a tournament that because for what it takes, even though I've only won one, what it takes to win a tournament is, I mean, it takes a lot. You have to be mentally on point for 8 hours and be honed in every time you hook into a fish. Because most of the time, unless you're blowing the competition out, you lose one fish and you're done. You know what I mean? So you have to be mentally honed in every time because you can't have any slip ups against the guys that we fish against in this state. The Dan Lewis's, the Lyle Dubes, the Chad Davidsons, the Jared Fosnos, Michael Fundenbergs. You can't slip up against those guys. So gotta walk that tightrope and be mentally with it the entire time, all 8 hours.
absolutely. Um, Something about that I didn't plan on saying something about, but for me to mentally stay there in the tournament the whole time, at some point I have to stop and drink some kind of fluids and eat some kind of a snack, get a little bit of sugar in me or something, and get my head straight. Otherwise, I make horrible decisions. And I did it, I don't know, 40 times probably before I figured out that the reason I always make a terrible decision the last 2 hours of the day is because I'm dehydrated and hungry. But you take a little bit different approach to that.
I do. It's unhealthy. I promise you, my Sundays following a tournament, most of the time are spent in bed until about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So, tournament morning, most of the time I'm getting up an hour, 2 hours early. I'm drinking a monster as we launch, the Mango Loco one that's got all the sugar in it, more than the original one, of course. I get all hyped up on caffeine and sugar, and I don't eat the entire day. I don't eat and I don't drink. After that monster's gone, there's nothing. There's nothing going down the gullet. There's nothing going down the hatch. It's fishing. I don't got time for anything else. And maybe that's held me back a little bit. Maybe I could have finished a little stronger, taking a different approach, which we might try this year. We might try. But yeah, for the most part, it's, for lack of better words, balls to the wall for 8 hours. There's no time, because if coming where I come from, it's like I didn't start off fishing, so I feel like I'm at a disadvantage already compared to people like you, compared to people who've been fishing longer than I've been alive. So I got to keep that bait in the water, or else I'm at a disadvantage. I feel like, which then again comes back to that mental thing. See, there's that almost sounds like a mental block, but it's just my mentality. I got to keep the bait in the water. I got to keep fishing. I'll drink later. There's time to rest when you're dead, so to speak. So yeah, we just go.
Absolutely. I think I think it's interesting, and I know that if I took that approach, I would I would do much worse than I do, if I took that approach. But kind of like what we were talking about earlier with your kayak, it's not really holding you back too much, or at least not visibly. So, not saying that you need to change it. Just I would do bad doing that, but
Yeah, I'm young in this game. I take all the pointers I can get. So if maybe taking a break throughout the middle of the day when you're making a run and drinking some water, maybe that'll help me. I'm gonna try it this year. We're gonna give it a shot. It can't hurt. The only thing it could do is make me take an extra pee break, but
yeah,
you can fish and pee at the same time.
you certainly can, and you can pedal and drink at the same time. So, another thing that we differ quite a bit on is uh is the way that you practice. I think that you and your brother kind of take a little bit different approach than I do, and wanted you to kind of break that down. It
Hmm.
like well, I'll kind of share how I practice first, real quick, just so that way you kind of know what I'm asking, know how it's different. I normally like to find 5 fish at least, and I like to find at least one of some kind of quality. I'm not looking for like a 4 pounder, but a 15 incher, just to know that they're in the area and I'm not only fishing for the rats. A, you know, one like bass keeper and 5 or 4 other ones, or I want to be confident that I'm around lots of fish, or at least enough fish and enough quality to do well. Uh, but you guys kind of crack on me a little bit whenever I go and catch 5 fish. You guys say I'm sore lipping them. So
Yeah, and see, my brother, he's gonna kill me for putting him on blast like this. But I will even say sometimes I feel like he almost sore lips him a little bit too. My practice strategy is a little it's a little different than both your guys'. I do a lot of the map study, which is no different than you three. I think all three of us together put a lot of map study time in. And so once I find an area that I like on the maps, a lot of times I'll go pre-practice 2 weeks before the tournament. Uh, and not to brag, but most of the time I have found areas. I've thrown a dart on an area that's been a productive area. Not too many times have I been burned. On a couple lakes I have. For the most part, I've hit and found some pretty productive areas. So when it comes to practicing the weekend of the tournament, I'm just trying to go out there and maybe catch 2 fish. Let me catch two, uh, maybe a third, and I'm good. I want to get out of there. Now I might go, and this is gonna make me sound like a bad person, but I might go somewhere else that I don't plan on fishing and hammer on them a little bit just to see what they're doing in that area. If it relates to what I'm fishing, yeah, I might go there and fish and try to catch a couple and see what's up. Really swing on them heavy. But that's just kind of how I do it. I don't want to catch anything practice day that I should be catching tournament day, because there's been quite a few times I've caught that 18 to 19-inch fish on practice day that you're kicking yourself in the ass at the end of the tournament day, because that would have got out of 13 or 12 and really bumped you up. You know what I mean? So I try to be very precautious and do everything before the weekend of the tournament that I can to make sure I'm ready.
absolutely. I understand that, and I try to have that mindset a little bit, but I get nervous if I'm not finding them. And I get what you're saying about feeling like a bad person or looking like a bad person for going and doing that, but uh I do the same thing occasionally. Yeah, I'll try to find something that is very similar to what I'm fishing, but I don't plan on going to like a secondary area and go lean on them there. Just to The way I justify it is I try to tell myself that I'm uh, dialing in my pattern when I'm not really doing that. I'm going and leaning on somebody else's fish, but that's not the
Exactly.
intention. So
It's really just whatever helps you sleep at night. You know what I mean? Whatever you're telling
yeah,
you. I think really all of us as anglers probably do it. We find a spot that we like. We're like, God, I can't keep sore from here. Let me go launch at the next ramp down and see what's up there. And unintentionally, yeah, you're probably catching somebody else's fish. It's just a game. Comes back to that mental game again. You can't let that get to you. If you're that guy that's there and somebody comes and whacks on your spot. I've
Yeah.
had it done to me. It's not the best, but you can still go catch them the day after.
Yep. Absolutely. Especially if it's a good area and they either reload or they're still there.
There you
So
go. My theory on that also, I'm glad you said that. If them going there and catching five, six, seven, eight fish made you think that that area wasn't going to be productive, maybe it wasn't the area that you should have been in to begin with. But that's just my take on it. Maybe you found an area where you got two really big bites, and that was just, you was banking on that. But that's just my 2 cents on it.
yeah. We said something about your brother. I don't know why he takes rods whenever he practices because the tournaments where he does well, he never gets a bite in practice, and the tournaments that he doesn't do well, it's because he hooked a 20 incher in practice, like the BB 250 a couple years ago.
Yeah, yeah. He's a very weird cat, man. He's a fish whisperer. I sometimes I just wish I could leave him at home, to be quite honest with you, because I don't like donating my money to him. It's not fun. Uh, but yeah, he just somehow he finds a way to get on him. I want him. I hope on practice day he comes in and tells me, "Oh, brother, I've hammered him today." Because I'm gonna say, "Oh, really? Did you? That's not good." But in my head, I'm thinking, "Yes, yes, yes." He's gonna stumble tomorrow because you're right. If he comes in and tells you I didn't do anything today in practice, he's gonna finish in the top five the next day, more than likely. Just the way he rolls.
Absolutely, he's a fishy kind of guy. So,
He's a something kind of guy.
um, I wanted to get into another one of your opinions here. Uh, what do you think is more important for you? Uh, top tens or podium finishes? An example would be like throughout the season, seven top tens, at, or like two podium finishes, top three,
Hmm.
but no other top tens. And just think about it in like one schedule. So 7 events. Either you finish in the top 10 every time or you get two second place or whatever, the first and
So
the third.
that's a hell of a question because the only tournament I've ever won, you hosted, small tournament, Pony Express. I'm still very proud of that because there's some quality anglers in that, but I haven't gotten over that hump in a big tournament yet. So part of me wants to say getting them podium finishes and maybe getting a win, but I'm in it. Gerald Swindle is my idol, man. That guy, he was all about consistency and getting AOIs. And for me, I kind of think uh, the year long trophies, the year long achievements mean more to me than just winning that day. I feel like you kind of won the battle that day, not necessarily the war, if that makes sense. So I like them. I'm in it for the marathon. I'd rather have the top 10 finishes and be up there at the end of the year with the Chad Davidsons, the Dane Lewises of the world competing for that AOI title. That's kind of what I strive for, to be honest. I'd rather be getting those quality finishes all throughout the year.
That's how I am as well. Is I'd take seven 10th place finishes rather than the five, I don't know,
Yes.
20th place
Yeah.
with 2 seconds. So, of course, the checks that you get in the top five or however many they pay out, the checks are definitely helpful. But uh, that end of the year trophy is important to me as well. So, um, looking ahead at the schedule, do you have a tournament that you're the most excited for this season? Um,
Mm. Mm.
I know that we're both doing quite a few and fishing the same two trails together and doing quite a few of them there. So I was wondering if you had one that you're more excited for than the other, not like trail, but a certain event.
Yeah. Every year, I'm gonna get excited and I'm gonna get jacked up for the All American Classic because Truman, my favorite lake in the state, I consider it, even though it's an hour and 45 minutes away from me, I consider that my home lake. I don't know. I love that place. I take a lot of pride in being good on that lake. And last year, I was so close. If I would have caught a limit, shoulda, woulda, coulda. If I'd have caught a limit on day two, I'd have been up there. Even if they were rats, I'd have been up there with a check. So that one hurt my pride a little bit. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that All American Classic. I want to get up there on the biggest stage with the hammers of the world, the hammers of, I guess I should say, the surrounding areas. It's almost a national event, you could say. We pull a bunch of people from everywhere, but we'll say regional just to be nice. I wanna get a podium finish, man, in one of them big tournaments. So that one and the BB 250 every year would be my two favorite events because it's your only two times of the year to show what you can do against people from other states. So yeah, probably one of those two.
Yeah. Yeah, and the stakes are a bit higher, the buy-in's a bit higher for both of those, and the
Yeah,
checks that guys are taking home are I don't know. I don't know if there's anybody else that pays out like the Big Bass 250 does, but
I don't think
my
so.
gosh, guys are winning some money there. So,
That and the hardware is phenomenal. The trophies mean a lot, and I think both tournaments do a phenomenal job of just really giving you a trophy that you're like you see it when you go check in, and you're like, oh man, you just gawk at it. You just kind of like, man, I gotta take that thing home. That's got to be mine. And I mean, it means a lot to the anglers to see people taking that much time and putting that much effort and pride into the awards that we're fishing for. Especially like you said, when the entry fees are that high, you kind of want to reap the benefits of that. So they feed us good, they good rewards, good trophies. That's kind of all you can ask for as an angler.
yeah, absolutely. Those are pretty exciting events. Um, Man, I'm excited for Truman this year for or the All American this year. I did terrible last year, and I'm pretty excited to run that one back. Try to have a little bit more experience on that lake going into it this time. Try to finish a little bit higher. Uh, that was one of my worst events of the year last year, and I'm pretty excited to get the opportunity at that again. Um, I'm pretty excited about the Moyak event at Mark Twain in April. I think that could be a really good event. Um, and I'm excited for this grassroots trail that has come up. I know we talked about that a lot last time. The one at Pony Express, I've fished that lake so many times. I've fished. Me and you have both fished probably a dozen tournaments there a piece over the years, and I have yet to win one. I've come in second and third place probably 10 times on that lake and never won one. It's ridiculous. So I think this might be my time finally. So,
Yeah. That that lake is something else. As I sit right now, I'm 35 minutes away, and if I didn't have to work tomorrow and that thing was thought out, I'd be there. I'll tell you what. So yeah, that's gonna be a hell of an event. Those Moyak guys are gonna be in for a treat. The ones that don't get to come up this way and fish, because there's not very many places that you go to where 100 inches is possible, not for just one person but for multiple people. And granted, the times of the years that we went there for those tournaments that we had where those numbers were put out were set up for that kind of finish. But nonetheless, it's not out of the reach from anybody out there. Anybody can go out there to pony and have a high 90s day, almost 100-inch day. Uh, that place will put them out. You find them, you get on them, they're healthy in there, man. So I mean, they're just healthy and they're long. It's great fishery. They've done a good job with that place. That place is well managed, I will say.
yeah, absolutely. And back to the mindset over your equipment or whatever thing. Uh, Last spring, I had my biggest tournament bag ever of 97.5 inches, and I got beat by a guy who put up 98 and a quarter, and he went and anchored and threw a jig at the same brush pile all day and a paddle kayak with no electronics. He left for like 10 minutes and threw a crankbait somewhere else, and then went back to that same brush pile. And he put up almost 100 inches and a paddle kayak and won with a very impressive score for Missouri, especially the northern half of Missouri. So it's he had the right mindset. Oh, and that was his second kayak tournament ever. He's a stick in the bass boat co-angler scene, but as a as a kayak angler, he's pretty fresh. So um, I wanted to know. if you've got a big goal for the season. I personally know of one, couple, three maybe that you're running after, but I would like to know, yeah, if you've got, I don't know, I've got some written down here, like intermediate angler of the year, team of the year, rookie of the year, a certain number of wins that you'd like to chase. Uh, I think last year we saw that wins are definitely in your future, especially with that Brookfield finish and the Classic finish.
Ah, that's a good question. Um, Last year I felt like I had some tournaments where, like halfway through the day, I was in it, but I was not in it. Like if I had two or three more fish in the boat, my tournament could have been a completely different, and I would have finished higher in AOI, not been all the way back. And I think I finished in like ninth, which you're like, oh, you finished in ninth. That's good. It is good. But for me, I strive to be the best. I don't like settling for anything less. Uh, so I guess my goal for this year would just be to finish strong every time. Not just one time on Lake of the Ozarks because the weather lined up for you and you were able to catch them cranking because they just jumped in the boat for you. When it's not going good, I want to be able to really just be consistent and just be able to finish with at least like the goal, I guess, would be to finish with at least 75 inches in every tournament. Like that's a good standard. If you don't get above, you don't call after 75, you get left behind in some tournaments, but that's a good place to start. And I feel like that'd be a good goal for me because I've had a few doozies where we just, that plane starts going down, and no matter how much you lift up, it just crashes, and you finish with 30 some inches, and you're all the way back in, 27th place out of 30 anglers, and you're like, well, what the hell just happened? So I want to limit those this year and be more consistent. That'd be my goal.
I hear you. That's pretty similar to mine for the year. Is obviously I'd like to chase the titles and stuff, but can't do that without being consistent. And I really showed some inconsistencies myself on Truman, Palmy, uh Wapapello, even Mark Twain a little bit. Just and Table Rock I even was pretty bad Table Rock for the Moyak event. So it was, yeah, I'm right there with you where I would like to bump a lot of those poor finishes up to, even if it was 20th place instead of 60th, sometimes. So I hear you. The better consistency is a big deal. For people that may not know, me and you were planning on chasing that team of the year title together and Moyak. So that's a big one that I'd really like to get. I think that would be a lot of fun. So
Yeah, you misworded that there. People don't know that Dane Lewis is going to carry the other half of the Dube brothers to a team championship this year. That's what's going to happen. I'm going to
I
get
don't know about
carried.
that. I don't know about that. We'll have to see how it goes, but we the the schedule doesn't look like it's going to line up to be gangbusters for me this year. So we'll
Really?
see though.
I am very, very excited about that Moyak schedule. Mostly because it's got Truman on it. But I don't know. I like the times of the years that we're going to these lakes. I've grown fond of Mark Twain. I know there's some people that don't even want to drive over it, kind of like Truman, but I've grown fond of that place. It's a grinder, but I like those ones. Those are the fun tournaments for me. I found an area that I like. There's some fish in it. There has been the past 2 years, so no, I like that Moyak schedule. Josh did a hell of a job with that.
Yeah, I'm not trying to say it's a bad schedule. I'm just saying that it doesn't appear to line up to my strengths that well. So
No, that, that
I'm
that's fair.
I'm very excited for it. I just I wouldn't have me if we were taking bets. I wouldn't have me carrying that team. But um, do you have uh a fun like challenge type goal for the season? Is there anything that you would like to do? Like, I know you'd love to throw a buzz bait for an entire tournament, but is that something that you ever set out to do? Get as far back in a creek as you can?
I'll tell you what, one thing I set out for every tournament, and it's never happened. Not yet. It has not happened. I want to get in a tournament where I catch five early enough, and I'm either in the top three and really comfortable, or leading it by a comfortable enough amount to be able to pull a glide bait out and be confident enough to throw that thing for more than five casts and not wonder what the hell are you doing. If I could ever get to a point in a tournament where I'm comfortable enough to pull out the glide bait, that'd be sweet. That'd be the ideal situation there. I want to put a glide bait fish into the system. I have not done that yet on Tourney X.
That's awesome. I at some point I realized that I'd never be that far ahead, and so I never would have that opportunity to pick up a glide bait because I was far ahead. So now I just mix them in with everything else. But I definitely hear what you're saying. I think there's only been one time that I've been like, all right, now I'm gonna go chase a big fish with a big bait, and that was Table Rock 24 day one. Um, I felt like I had a comfortable limit, and I wanted to quit sore lip and fish for the next day, so I picked up a mag draft and then skipped it under every single boat dock that I ever saw, and I never got bit, but it was an attempt. So um, a kind of a fun challenge goal thing that I'd like to do is, and maybe this year if something lines up right, is I'd love to do a tournament where I only throw big baits like you're talking about. And there is one on the schedule that looks like it might be good for it. I just have to find a giant spook before the grassroots event at Stockton. So,
I wonder what tournament that would be.
oh yeah, yeah, it'll be good. I caught a couple. No, I caught one in practice, but I don't know. We went to Stockton twice last year with Camo and Moyak, and I think I caught like four or five glide bait fish between the one day of practice and the two tournament days that I had. So I would like to. I think it's possible for that event in August. So might go and try to commit to that a little bit better and see. Although I would really like to win that one. I think that's my best shot of winning a grassroots tournament. Honestly, one more thing here that I wanted to bring up is you've talked to me a little bit about some social media stuff, some YouTube stuff potentially. Is that something that you're going to be doing this year, you think?
Yeah, um, we're looking into it. I'm getting ready to order all the equipment and stuff, and have you help me set it up on the kayak. And yeah, we're gonna be trying to do some YouTube videos and some possibly dabble in some TikTok reels. We'll see. Uh, I just I wanted to put the how do I say this? I wanted to put the horse before the carriage. I didn't want to go out there and try to make a 20-minute YouTube video when the product was shitty. It wasn't camera ready. And I feel like now I've been in it long enough that I'm ready to put a camera behind me and film myself fishing. I'm ready to show that side of me. It's probably some people are gonna like it. Some people are probably gonna hate it because I'm just gonna be me. It's gonna be raw. It's gonna be real because I don't know any other way to be. So people they're probably gonna laugh a lot at me because I'll probably get mad and throw a few cuss words in there when I jump a fish off and stuff. But yeah, that's the goal. We're gonna get out there and try to do some YouTube, yeah, some social media
Awesome.
stuff.
Awesome. Yeah. And whenever that comes out, you'll be able to find whenever the page, YouTube channel, whatever gets started. If you go into the YouTube page for Missouri, or excuse me, Show Me Kayak Fishing. I keep forgetting the name. If you go into that YouTube page and scroll down, you'll see other pages or something, featured channels, something like that, and you'll see mine and Adrian's page on there, so you can easily navigate there and subscribe. So mostly just tournament videos is the plan.
Uh, yeah. Maybe starting off, my first couple videos might be not tournament videos. Um, but I fish so many tournaments throughout the year that I feel like it's gonna keep me busy enough just doing tournament uploads, especially now fishing two series. Uh, But yeah, it's going to be mostly tournament videos. Um, might dabble, and this is maybe a big maybe, might dabble in the fall when I go crazy into deer hunting for my 2 weeks that I go real crazy into it. Might do some of that along the lines, but we're just gonna see how this fishing stuff goes first. See if people even like, what I have to offer. See if people find me entertaining, and then we'll go from there.
Oh, they certainly will. And you've got a lot of information in that head to share that people will like as well. So,
Well, it's
uh,
a big head, so there better be something in there. It better not be hollow.
the and for anybody else who's wanting to do it, the specifically in tournaments, the best way that I have found to do it, because I've heard other people complain about it, is you you set up the cameras first thing in the morning, and you have them set up to where you never have to think about them for the rest of the day. And that's the only way to do it and stay competitive in tournaments. Because if you're trying to set up a camera and get a certain shot and film this and do that, you're never going to be competitive and film uh, a really cinematic video. Uh, in my opinion, maybe you're that good. Maybe I bet Jared Fosno could do that, but the rest of us cannot. And so, like, I've got a YOLO Tech. I know Bryson's got a Yak Attack mount something, and then he runs cord into his backpack where he keeps like a just a battery charger that you use for your phone in there and runs it all off of that. So he never has to worry about it. Get a big SD card, that kind of stuff. Uh, but if any of you guys are wanting to do it, definitely do it. It's fun, and being able to go back and watch what you do and reflect on what you did right and wrong uh, with video evidence, not just in your head because it gets convoluted in your head, but you go back and actually watch it. It will help you be a better angler if you're analytical about your mistakes, if you do go back and pick it apart. So I'd encourage everybody to go and do it if they're have any interest in it. So figured I'd toss that out there for anybody else.
Well, it got me motivated.
I I don't have any more questions written down. Is there anything else that you're wanting to talk about?
Oh, not specifically. I'm just happy that you had me on. Let me talk a little bit about myself. I always like rambling about myself. Who doesn't? A little pat on the back every now and again is nice. So, no, nothing
Absolutely.
specific. Just grateful that you had me on here. Hope people like the episode and they keep tuning into the podcast 'cause we're going to keep pumping them out.
Yeah, yeah. It's been pretty fun to this point, and I'm hoping to keep rolling. The next one should be hopefully I got to talk to him again, but hopefully it's going to be Matt Walthall. I'm hoping I'm saying his last name right, and Frank Miller Jr. from the Western Missouri Kayak Fishing League. They're I'm pretty sure Frank founded it, and Matt has since been the tournament director. But I don't know exactly how it works. But that's why we're having them on to talk to them. I've fished a couple of events; they're fun. It's a old school fun series, so look forward to that. You guys at home, um, it'll be an enjoyable one for sure, and hopefully after that we're getting into winners, the winners of tournaments, hoping to bring them in. So kind of a look forward for anybody who doesn't know what this podcast is about, because so far it's just been tournament directors. But anything else, Adrian?
No, sir. I think that's all from me.
All righty. Well, thank you to everybody for tuning in and watching. Um, we hope to see you next time. I don't know what else to say, but enjoy.